Hi guys, welcome back to my series on writing. As you can see, this video is a follow-up on paraphrasing techniques, and you can see below the video I posted a link for you to practice paraphrasing. The exercise includes 10 questions, and today I'm going to give you the sample answer for those questions. But before we start, let's do some revision on the theory. Do you still remember? There are three basic paraphrasing techniques. The first one, you can use synonyms or antonyms. The second one, you can change the word forms, and the last one, you can change the sentence structures. Now let's get started with question number 1. This is just a simple sentence. Demand for food is increasing worldwide. Demand for food is increasing worldwide. So, what's your answer? I hope you have done the exercise before you come to this video. The answer is food consumption is on the increase throughout the world. So how have I paraphrased the sentence? For example, demand for food. I have changed demand for food into food consumption. And the verb phrase is increasing has been changed into the prepositional phrase is on the increase. Worldwide is changed into throughout the world. That's just a simple way to paraphrase a sentence. You use synonym, you can change the phrases. You can change from noun phrase into verb phrase into adjective phrase, whatever you like. So the first one is rather simple. Now let's move on to question number 2. Many companies sponsor sports as a way of advertising themselves. Many companies sponsor sports as a way of advertising themselves. What's your answer for this sentence? For this sentence, you see you can find another synonym for company. You can change the structure. For example, let's see. Sports sponsorship as a means of self-advertisement is being employed by more and more enterprises. So now many companies have been replaced by more and more enterprises. Sponsor sport, that is the verb, the main verb of the sentence, and I have changed the form to make it the subject of the sentence. Sports sponsorship as a way of has been changed into as a means of advertising themselves, a verb phrase, and now it has become a noun phrase. Self-advertisement is being employed by. We need to use a verb to go with a means. It is being employed. Is being used, is being employed by more and more enterprises. So for this sentence, you have used synonym, you have used word form, and you have used sentence structure. You have employed all those three techniques to paraphrase the original sentence. Now, question number 3. Libraries should be shut down as better alternatives are available. So that is a complex sentence. There are two clauses in this sentence. So there are many things you can do with this sentence. Libraries should be shut down as better alternatives are available. So what is the relation between the two clauses? That is, cause and result. The cause is better alternatives are available, and the result library should be shut down. So you should make use of this relation to change the sentence into another one of the same meaning. So let's see. The introduction of superior search engines calls for the closure of libraries as a unique source of information. So, how have I paraphrased the original sentence? Do you have the same idea? I hope so. So, the original sentence is a complex sentence, but I have changed it into a simple sentence. Can you see it? For example, better alternatives are available. Available means it is available to use. So I have used another phrase, the introduction of something. The introduction of superior search engines. Better alternatives here, alternative to library. So a library is a source of information, a place where you can find information. And I can use another phrase, another noun phrase like search engine to replace library. So better, superior search engines. And you can see I have replaced modal verb should with calls for. It shows the need for something. And we have shut down. Be shut down has been replaced by the closure of, call for the closure of something. The closure of libraries as a unique source of information. So before the introduction of other search engines, library used to be a unique source of information. The only place you can find information. Okay. Now let's move on to question number 4. Some people think that men are naturally more competitive than women. And I have paraphrased this sentence using another structure. It is generally thought that men are born with a higher level of competitiveness than their female counterparts. As you can see, I have replaced some people think with it is generally thought. It is a common way for you to change an active sentence into a passive one using a dummy subject. You see, that is not the real subject of the sentence. The real subject is some people. But if you want to avoid using the real subject, you can use a dummy one. It is it. It is generally thought that men are born with. You see, naturally, to be naturally means you are born with something, you are born with a kind of personality, you are born with a kind of gene. So men are naturally more competitive. Men are born with, and now we have the adjective, comparative, more competitive. And now I use a higher level of competitiveness. I use a noun phrase with the preposition with a high level of competitiveness. And women, I don't use women, I use female counterpart than their female counterparts. So I use synonym, I use the change of the word form, I use the change of sentence structure. All those 3 techniques are employed for this sentence. And now is question number 5. Most people prefer ready-to-eat food outside of their home rather than homemade food now. We have the verb prefer. And we have the structure of comparison. Now let's see. In modern societies, there's an increasing preference for ready prepared meals over home cooked ones. So you see, now has been replaced with in modern societies. Because this sentence is for most people in the society, so I won't repeat most people in the paraphrase version. I change the structure into there's an increasing preference for something. The verb prefer has been replaced with preference, an increasing preference for. And ready to eat food is now ready prepared meals. And in the same way, homemade food is changed into home cooked ones. And remember, the phrase preference for something over something. Preference for something over something. It means you prefer something to something else. Okay, now let's move on to question number 6. People spend a lot of money on various things as they earn more money nowadays than before. So again, we see a complex sentence with conjunction as showing cause and result. And the paraphrase version is rising average incomes or improvements in earnings. You can use rising average incomes or you can use improvements in earnings have led to an increase in consumer spending. Again, I have changed a complex sentence into a simple one by using words related to that structure. For example, I have used the phrase lead to, the verb phrase lead to, instead of the conjunction as to make it a simple sentence. People spend a lot of money on various things is now an increase in consumer spending. Consumer spending. And people now earn more money is expressed by the phrase rising average incomes or improvements in earnings. So you can see now phrases are usually employed, are usually used when you want to change a complex sentence into a more simple one. And now is question 7. Many museums and historical sites are mainly visited by tourists rather than local people. And for this sentence, I have 2 paraphrase versions. Now let's see. The first one, visitors to museums and historical sites are mostly made up of tourists rather than locals. And the second one, museums and historical sites hold greater appeal for tourists than for locals. You can see for the first version, I have changed visited by into visitors to, and mainly is now mostly made up of. This place mostly visitors to these places are mostly made up of. And I have changed local people into locals. For the second one, I use another phrase. I use hold greater appeal for. It means that place more interesting to tourists than to locals. To hold greater appeal for. Appeal means attractiveness. Now let's move on to question number 8. Shopping is now one of the most popular forms of leisure activities in many countries for young adults. And the paraphrase version is of many different pastimes, shopping has risen as one of the most favored activities among the youth. So you see, there are many forms of leisure activities for people, but now shopping is one of the most popular. And I can express it in another way. Shopping has risen as of many different pastime is used to replace leisure activities. It now has risen as. And the most popular forms has been replaced by the most favored activities. The most favored for young adults. Young adults mean the youth. Question number 9. These days, many children spend a lot of their time playing computer games, but little time doing sports. So, what is your answer? Now, let's see. There is a disproportion of time allocation between computer games and sports among modern children. It is a hard one. I have used rather complex vocabulary. So you can see these days has been replaced with modern children. Many children spend a lot of their time playing computer games, but little time doing sports. So you can see there is a disproportion of time allocation. A lot of time for this one, but little time for other thing. So it is a disproportion, not balanced. And spend time, I have used a phrase time allocation to allocate time for a particular activity. You spend time allocation. So the fact is there is a disproportion of time allocation between computer games and sport among modern children. Well, the last question finally, question number 10. These days, mobile phones and the internet are very important to the ways in which people relate to one another socially. Well, that is expressed in a rather complex way. The ways in which people relate to one another socially. How can we understand this? In this technological era, mobile phones and the internet play a crucial role in improving understanding and strengthening relationships among individuals. Now let's see, because it is related to the topic of mobile phones and the internet, so I use in this technological era. This day has been changed into in this technological era. Mobile phones and the internet are very important too, and now it is play a crucial role in to play a crucial role, play a vital and important role in something. The ways in which people relate to one another socially can be understood in this way, improving understanding and strengthening relationships among individuals. Relate to one another socially. It's the way you understand and use. You can strengthen relationship between you and other people in the society. So that's the end of the lesson today. If you have any other answer, you can type in the comment to help others. And thank you for watching. Subscribe for more new videos. Goodbye.